All right, so in this video, we want to share about our dream team, people that we need to have in our trading, people that help us to perform better and get better results overall with our trading. So we'll kind of share these people. You can always build up your team. I think we really believe in the power of having people around you. It's hard to succeed alone in trading in any kind of business. And it's good to have people around you who can support you, help you to kind of level up, push you to work harder. So that's what we want to talk about today. So let's talk about our dream team, people that we want to have and want to work with in our trading.
I agree. We couldn't do it alone. I mean, we have different styles of trading, different methodologies, but the one thing we both agree on is there's no way we could have done this alone. We had to have a team, and let's share you our dream team. I'm excited to hear what you have and what I have as well.
The first person I need to say I got to have in my team is someone who can tell me about the finances, like the taxes. I want to be the one doing my taxes and like having to have headaches over how much I have to pay to the government, how much I have to do things. But also want to have someone who can tell me where's the best place to trade, like where's the best country to have your trading account. If you want to be able to save on taxes, or like have a way to earn more money. Because we could always like do it and stay in our home country and do it like fine. But what if you could save a lot of money or earn a lot more if you go to like a different country? You go out of Hong Kong or like Singapore, then you don't have any capital tax. And you get earn a lot more on your trading. You get like 50% more returns. I want to have someone in my team who can tell me where I can go and how to do my taxes right to save some time and kind of save some headaches.
Honestly, this is one on my team which I had earlier. Not just for my trading. We always talk about treating trading like a business.
Yeah.
This is the business part of trading, right? So you're saying have like an accountant type person or a tax person who can help and guide you optimize your savings and
that's definitely it. Yeah, for sure.
It's again, we had this conversation years ago, and I kind of paid the price and learned. I like it too. And again, trading like a business, have to do it. I'm actually going to give you one of my dream teams, very similar, but instead of an accountant, an accountability partner. So it's sort of like an accountant, but making sure your finances are in check. I need someone to make sure that I'm keeping my head in the right place. I'm not drifting away from my plan. Someone who can be honest with me and tell me up front, hey, hotshot trader, you're screwing this up, right? You're not compliant with your trades. There's nothing better than looking in a mirror or actually looking at having another trader being accountable. And what's the best way to do it? Most of the time it's free because you actually become an accountability partner to them. And we've seen on the coaching side, the results of people who have traders who have accountability, partners or groups or things like that, just are much better traders because they make less mistakes. They're more hesitant to push the button when they know they're wrong.
That's true, definitely. One of the things that helped me a lot in the past is having a community of traders around you, like people you can just talk to. Back in 2016, I started going to meetups in Montreal. They had a really good trader meetup at that time. I met a lot of traders that way. So I got to add, I think everyone should have a sort of trader community to go to ask feedback on. I think it's a really good way to, first of all, kind of see how traders think, like their mindset, how they see things, what perspectives they have that you don't have. And also it's a good way to get ideas on like what you could trade, what things you could do different, or what other kind of ways people do things that you can apply to your own trading. So I think I got to have that. You got to meet traders somehow. And now you can do it, of course, online. You can go to meetups that are in person. But having some kind of community, some kind of place to go see traders is a really good part of your dream team.
Great part of the dream team. I mean, it's really where you can bounce things, ideas off. You learn about different products, you learn about different ways to do things. And it sort of turbocharges your development in a sense. And obviously online or in like sort of communities are the best sort of logical community ways to do it. I would actually expand the scope and say even like trader expos and conferences, things like that, because now you're meeting people, over beers and stuff, but you really just, again, get those checks and balances and you look and say, I didn't think about it. Like there's so many times those light bulb moments have occurred in a trader community. So totally agree. Wherever you are in the stage of your development, I think, look to be a part of a community, and that's helps you out. And my personal advice is try not to go with everyone who clones the exact same thing you're doing. Like, maybe it's good to have someone who trades futures or oil or something. Yeah. Doesn't mean you're going to be an oil expert, but you get to know little quirky things about the business and expands your horizon. I just give an example. I went into a trader community by mistake, and it was an options trading community. And I didn't really know much about it. This is 7 years ago. Now, 80% of my trades are options trades. So expand that knowledge. I will also go a little different, separate in my dream team and talk about not just the community, but an expert part of community. And that is having a trade mentor. And I owe so much to my mentors, and I've had about 3 or 4 of them throughout my career. And I think just they're so invaluable. And quite honestly, I was an idiot because a lot of times I didn't listen to them. So I had to learn the hard way. But having that mentorship to keep the ship, the business of Mike Toma Trading in line and letting them know when I deviate before I blew up, there's a lot of things where maybe they didn't make a ton of money in the beginning, but they prevented me from blowing up. Well, that's invaluable. So having that sort of, I don't want to say expert, whether it's a specialist, just someone with experience, a coach, someone to sort of keep you in line when you're about to shift. And we've all done that. Very, very invaluable. And quite honestly, my regret is I didn't appreciate the value that they gave to me at the time. But this investment was probably the best investment in trader mentorship in my entire trading life. I mean, it has to be in the thousands of % return. I don't know. What do you think?
I got to ask you a question on this one just for fun. Do you pay for your mentors? Or do you actually look for people who want to mentor you for free?
Yeah, in the beginning, I personally, when I was going to mentors, I paid for them. So I look at it as an investment. But one of the things I found as I developed is traders are like a junkie in a sense but they're both hungry for the same things. So there's a lot of barter relationships that you can have. Like say, would you be my mentor? I was, well, okay, how about as long as you're my mentor?
Yeah.
One of the things when it comes to, and as you develop, obviously we get a lot of requests for mentorship and stuff, and that's great. That's what we're here for. I have no problem really just wherever you want to know, I'll give out whatever you need to know. I can't take it with me, right? Hopefully you're here for a long time, but I need to consider my time. That's the thing. So for those looking for mentors, and maybe they're not in a situation where they can pay for coaching or whatever like that, think about offering what you have to offer. Maybe there's something of value. Maybe it's outside the trading space. You know what? You mentioned before having a good person with accounting and stuff like that. Well, maybe they can't be my mentor, but I'll be your mentor if you can help me with my accounting, something like that. So think outside the box. There's a space for everyone, but show me something of value. I mentored someone who had a beach in the Caribbean. Guess what? You want to do it down there? I'm your mentor. Sign the line. But anyways, we're very flexible, mentors. But just respect mentors' expertise, but really important, respect their time.
Totally agree, yeah. One of the things that really helped me level up a lot in my trading is having someone to call my strategies. Like I've been using algos now for the past almost 5 years, and algos help me to have a more hands-off way of trading. When I have to be at the chart, I can get similar returns to my manual trading, but with algos, without being there all the time, so that's is really a good thing. I could never have done this all myself. I was a coder before with very little. Having someone to code things, kind of take my ideas, take my trading style and put it into a script. And that's been, for me, a huge help. So definitely having someone who can do that. Even if it's only for backtesting, you just want to test your strategies with the script, it helps to have someone to kind of save your time that way.
Yeah, good. I mean, where would you be without your coder? I mean, he's one of the best, right? Is it something where you need to, what level of experience do you need to have as a coder, or at least, do you have to have a level where at least you have a conversation of how do you communicate what you want to be done to a coder if you don't know how to code?
I think you need some basic understanding of how coding works and what you can code versus what you cannot code. But I think that if you have someone who is good at that and kind of knows the logic behind coding, then they can do it for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's an area where I've tried to learn. It's been on my personal development plan for a few years. And at one point I said, why am I fighting this? There's some skill sets you just don't have. Well, let me just go out, get the coder to do it. And delegating that element really fast-tracked that element. Now, obviously, I'm not full-time electronic or anything, but it definitely helps not only, like you said, in my back testing, but also it can just get things done a lot quicker and say, maybe I have a strategy I'm interested in. Well, I'll have the coder do the back testing and it'll say, okay, yes or no. I'll know right away if I want it, so it saves me my time. Coder, I totally agree. I'm going to go in my dream team a little different direction. And maybe having some type of coder, but I want to meet my capital connectors, all right? There's so much focus on the prop funding route, and it's great. It's opened the doors to so many traders. But really, in my growth, it was about really building relationships with people who knew people who has capital. And that allowed me to really leverage not just my trading, but my trading business. And there's a fascinating element. In fact, in our prop training, we actually have a whole module on this whole idea of just the process of kickstarting the area of, if you don't want to go the prop funding route, how to manage capital, how to manage outside capital. And there's a lot of nuances to it. But when that door opened, and there was a lot of training that I need to do and how to articulate the right things that made it a win-win situation, changed not just my trading, but changed the business of my trading. And that one key element of my dream team, so invaluable. Make it a win-win, has to all work out. Nothing's ever perfect, especially when it comes to money. But I found that to be a key part. And one person was a key part of my dream team who introduced me to the other side of prop funding.
Definitely. And the way you scale up, or the way I scaled up, is with technology. So like having a quota to code things, and then with capital. We're having more capital, more ways to make bigger returns without trying to risk too much, without trying to increase your risk. You can get a lot bigger revenue with just more capital in your account.
Yeah, and really the ultimate goal, I mean, it got to the point where, and it still is today, where I actually reject outside capital. So, it's almost like my dream team member actually is out of a position in my dream team. But really, that's what it is. I mean, there comes a point where they do such a good job and if your results are good, you never have to worry about capital. I mean, there's so many dollars are looking for a home, but you have to sort of make business decisions to optimize your performance. And, but that was a key point, that capital connector. Again, not rich person, the connector who can introduce and get you exposed to areas where people are looking for their money to find a home.
All right, last thing I need on my team that is definitely helping is someone who has a bigger vision, someone who can think big, think about the bigger picture. Sometimes like we get too into the day-to-day of trading, we kind of want to just trade and find good trades and get in and out, and we look at the P&L for that day, but we forget the big picture. We forget how's it going to look in like 6 months or 1 year or even like maybe 10 years from now. What do you want to get to in that longer term picture? Some people have a good idea of like the big picture. They can really think about the vision and stuff. I don't naturally do that. So having someone on my team who can look at the bigger picture and figure out like where am I going with this and what I could do with that trading skill has been a very big help. So definitely a good one on my team.
Yeah, I think, we're so focused on the next trade, look at the next setup. What about the next candle? What about the next market downturn? It's not about forecasting, but it's just about where am I going with this? What am I doing with this? Is, a lot of things. This is where having a good trading plan is how we're doing. But yeah, I agree. Having that sort of big thinker mentality, only because trading sometimes forces you into the minutia, that 15-minute chart. So I agree. And taking a step back, I tend to, when I travel, make it a point to rejuvenate my big thinking and having, some people on my team to make sure that happens. I agree. Key part, right? To your dream team. I'll go a little different route in the same sense that maybe they're a big thinker, but I have what they call the go-to guy. All right. And part of my team is I need someone to manage my trading, takes a lot out of me, manage my business of trading, someone who I could just give some things to and delegate and say, could you help me with this? Now, not an employee or anything like that. You could have a different type of relationship, but again, just like the accountability partner, the trade mentors, I have someone who could take care of some of the things I need to be taken care of. Sometimes even in my personal life to take care of something. It allows me the freedom to focus on the job of trading. Sometimes it comes for free. Maybe I could help them in other areas. Right? I have skill sets in risk management, estate planning, all that. Maybe I'll help them with that. So there's a lot of sort of these relationships that are really driven by barter, but I can't do it all. I don't have the skill sets nor the time. So having a go-to guy, you have those guys just in your life that just like, I'll take care of that for you. Oh, why didn't you tell me before? I'll take care of that. Like, yeah, why don't you take care of that? Because I got to run a business here, But again, a lot of times you see in trader development struggles that there's just too much going on in their life. Delegate it to someone and, reciprocate the thing. It's helped me tremendously, allows me to focus, and it's been invaluable to part of my dream team.
Man, I didn't put this on the list, but definitely have an assistant. I think having an assistant is definitely super helpful. Her name is Andrea, and it's just having someone to be able to do things I don't want to spend time doing, like small details sometimes, like the small stuff, like maybe booking a seat for like an airline or something, or like figuring out like some issues that happen. Not having to do it and then giving it to someone else to do it. And that saves me time for trading. It saves me energy to look at the chart, to do other stuff, maybe to look into more strategies, like optimizing my portfolio or something. So that just having someone to do these things that you don't want to do or shouldn't be doing, like shouldn't be spending your time on, that saves a lot of time and it definitely helps.
And I think also too, living like an abundance lifestyle or a life with purposes, maybe it's not just about a trading thing. Maybe it's, your spouse needs help with her career or something that she's struggling with, or, or him or her. That's okay too. Like, you can delegate other things so you can maybe devote some time to the things that are important to you, like the people that are going to benefit from your trading. So there's a lot of elements to it, but I think the key principle, I think whether it's an assistant or just having someone like the go-to guy, as I call it, is just not doing this alone. It's just so hard. Like, I couldn't do it alone. You don't need every single part of this dream team, but we have found that just having someone to alleviate some of that, not doing it alone, I think the key principle to our dream team is sort of invaluable to allow us to get to where we want to go. And I found that when I cut my dream team or don't reach out to them, I find that even if my performance is there good, I'm suffering like just physically. I just like, it's enough already. You're a little bit overwhelmed.
I think the key about the dream team is not to kind of have everyone in like one place, like all meet and like discuss and stuff. It's about having people that you can connect to when you need them, or when you feel like you could really level up in one area. Having someone that you can look for, they can help you with those things. Having like a group of people, you might not use them all at the same time, like every day, but having them to really be like if you need them to do something and to level up, you can.
Yeah, and we talked earlier the power of community. The community that you talked about is, a lot of times I leverage our trading community. Just you become good friends with a lot of people, and maybe they're going through a rough time. Maybe sometimes I was a little going through a rough time, in my personal life, and they were there to pick me up, or how you doing, and you need to talk, let us know it. Like, that's the beauty of trader community. That's the beauty of community in general. But there's also the go-to guy. Again, alleviating some of the things and the distractions that are preventing you from become the trader that you want to be. So I love this team. This is great ideas, different maybe approaches, but I think we all agree that you just can't do it alone.
Yeah, love that, definitely. Sounds good. If you want to learn more about how we trade or methodology and like a strategy behind it, we've put some we have some videos on that you can just watch and go in depth into how we trade or favorite setup. We've done one on this recently. We have videos about our strategies, what we trade, what we look for. All these will be linked below. You can check them out. Hopefully you can get you to teach some good stuff that way and figure out how to get you to the next level. I think a team is important, but also you got to have the right method, the right mindset behind it. Those things are also really important, and we'll dive into these things more onto other videos. Make sure to subscribe if it's not done yet. We have these videos 3 times a week on YouTube, and we'll catch you back here in the next video pretty soon.
Take care, everyone.